It's Friday, October 8th, and you're listening to The Drive. Okay, Ollie, my friend, everybody wonders who's going to be the guest of Daryl. And it's always a mad scramble when we record this show because sometimes we have regulars and sometimes we have like what happened today where we have technical issues. And Ollie is stepping in because Catherine's Dell PC, I'm putting it out there, her Dell notebook has been a cranky piece of crud and she is no longer able to attend today because it is acting up. So we said, let's go to the bullpen. Who do we have that we can pull on last minute who doesn't suck? And when we didn't find anybody, we went to Ollie. So there you go. Ollie, my friend, welcome to the show.
At least you didn't call me Jack this week.
Oh, Ollie, you always make me laugh. All right, let's get into it. We're talking about the... we have a bit of an announcement to make, actually. We have a bit of an announcement, which is at the end of the month of October, the end of this month, the Drive is being retired. It's going to make its final drive home. So with that, we ask you to enjoy these last few commutes with us. And thank you just for hanging out with us nonstop. So let's get into that. The road ahead. The road ahead. We mentioned this last week. We'll bring it up again this week. We're very excited about the B2B Marketing Expo coming up in London, November 16th to 17th. It'll be at the Excel Center, and that is Europe's leading marketing event. Now, it says marketing, but they've got marketing content. They've got sales content there. They've got communications content there. I mean, it's everything all about talking to your prospects. So check it out at b2bmarketingexpo.co.uk. If you're in the United Kingdom, if you're in Europe, if you're dying to leave wherever it is you are in North America and visit a nice, fine country where it rains and it's overcast most of the time, but they serve great beer, then go to London. Ollie, if I recall, you owe me a beer or two and a large steak dinner. Will you have your not your euros because you're no longer part of that? We fixed that years ago. Will you have your pounds and your shillings and your pence already? I sound like such a noob, don't I? When I don't even know how to talk about UK currency.
Yeah. I'll buy the currency. I just meant generally, but yeah, I suppose I could go down to the store and I could buy something for a few pounds. And I don't know if your hotel room would have any cooking utensil, but I'm sure I could borrow some sort of stove that I've been, on like a camping holiday for, and we could sort of sit over the River Thames and do something outside to save me a few £100. How's that sound?
That sounds brilliant. There we go. You're the best. I look forward to that token effort you're going to give me, and I will savor it. I just want you to know that. And based on that, by the way, that response, you will never, ever appear in the show again after this month, just so we're clear on that, okay? So that's my response to you.
Well, that sucks, but I do think it's a good idea to have Catherine and have Sean come on for a final hurrah before the show. We should have everybody else,
instead of just having two of us, we should have like the whole gang on the last show. I think that would be kind of cool.
I want Daniel to make an appearance. He
should. Daniel behind the scenes. There you go. All right, let's go into money. First up is my good friend, Alex Ollie. I love Alex. He's great. Alex is, I don't know, he's the CEO, he's the president, he's the founder. I know that. I mean, he's the co-founder, I'm not sure, of ReachDesk. ReachDesk just closed a Series B for $43 million. That's freaking incredible. ReachDesk is a firm. People hate when I do this because I know I hate when it's done to me, but sometimes it's what you got to do. Who else would share the category with you? Notice I didn't say who competes with you. Who would share the category with you? And they would have play the same space as a Sendoso or an Alice or a PFL or maybe a Postal.io. So this is pretty exciting. That's a big ass round for a company that really isn't all that old. What about you, Ollie? What do you think of Alex's accomplishment here?
Yeah, really good. I met him probably 8-9 months ago. He was one of the first guests on our podcast that we launched for Close, but he told me about how the company started, literally walking around trade show floors back when you could, although now you were slightly able to again. But he would walk around and just speak to everyone, every vendor, walk up and, oh, hey, how do you do this? Or what about this idea? Because the approach of gifting, or however the vendors want to call it, maybe they don't say gifting, but I think you know what I mean. That was pretty novel a couple of years ago even, so that he says. So it's good to see. And from all accounts, it seems like they've grown super fast, which is good. That's always a good sign. And that category, as we said, lots of rounds, even in the past week, 2 weeks in that space. Exciting.
You couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I quite like him. He's a great guy, and kudos to the company. And then that's huge. So check him out, folks. If you're looking for a gifting vendor, you don't have to use the same old. Reach out to ReachDesk. They're ironically that reach out to ReachDesk. I'm curious. Do you know what the origins are on the name ReachDesk? I don't know. I can guess. That's the desk you go to reach out to your prospects. I don't know, but I'm just totally guessing.
I'm assuming it's something to that effect. Yeah, I can't think of anything more imaginative, so it's probably that.
Instead of the help desk, you've got the reach desk. Check them out. That's cool. Series B, 43 million. All right. Speaking of another Series B, not 43 million, but 30 million, all the same, for our good friends at LeadIQ. Now, you know LeadIQ. LeadIQ is a little bit like VanillaSoft. When people hear VanillaSoft, they always think of Daryl Prout. So when people think of LeadIQ, they always think of Ryan O'Hara. Now, Ryan O'Hara, he is the VP of Growth and Marketing, but he's just one of a large cast of characters. And, they are a vendor who provides data and contacts, and they would be in the same category as vendors like, a Seamless AI or maybe a Zoom Info, etc. Now, their product offering, of course, is unique on its own. And it was interesting because this for Ryan, he shared a LinkedIn post where he says how back in November of 2015, when I started swapping emails with LeadIQ CEO and co-founder Mai Sao, I have no idea if I said that right. I apologize, Mai. I didn't know what was going to happen. A random guy from New Hampshire she had never met, but she believed in me, and you all have too. And I appreciate our sales community so much. At the beginning, we didn't have many customers. We didn't know exactly why people were going to buy LeadIQ, but we knew one thing. That was that prospecting can change people's lives. So he goes on just to say how this is phenomenal. He has a wonderful video where he's dressed to the nines on a beautiful pasture on top of a little hill, very green. It's almost got a bit of an Irish feel to it, I think. And he's got some pretty good company he's hanging out with. Cathay Innovation, Alumni Ventures, Draper Associates. So good for them. $30 million. What do you think is going to happen with that money? Do you think possible that it's going to go into growing their sales and marketing and furthering the development of their technology? Now, I've not read a press release. That's just my guess because that's what everybody literally says.
Yeah, that's got to be a first for everything, isn't it? Yeah, I know them pretty well. I've used LeadIQ. Good platform. We've probably all used most of the vendors in that same space. There's never that much between them, so it's interesting how they grow at slightly different paces. But someone's done a good job in marketing when you can point to certain things that they've done even years ago, and I can do that with some of Ryan's stuff that he's done. There's some videos. They even did a rap song a couple of years ago, which was sort of a parody on how reps do sort of spam blasting emails, that type of stuff. If I can remember that was probably 3 years ago. He did pretty good, but I know they're looking to go a bit more upstream, a bit more mid-market enterprise. So presumably, and I know they just hired a product marketer. That's always a good sign. Former product marketer myself, that's a good sign. Yeah, I'm excited for them. It's good. I wonder if they're going to get their Series C sooner than the gap between their A to B. Because I recall that was quite a while ago, but we'll see.
All right. And if that's not enough in the whole data contacts game, that carries on. LeadGenius just announced a $2.5 million investment facility. And that's coming from I never know how to pronounce this. It's Timia, Timia, Timia. I don't know, but they're big capital to assist with company growth. So this is, I guess if I said this right, this is their first round of investment since their 2017 Series B. And not unlike what LeadIQ is doing, Ollie, this one is it's to further their shift from startups to enterprise sales companies. So that's what they are, LeadGenius. You can check them out at LeadGenius.com. Was interesting, though. I did a search on LeadGenius in news. And ironically, when I did the search, LeadGenius didn't come up anywhere. And now when I did a search for just LeadGenius, they did come up in Google results. That was always interesting. Second part was I couldn't actually find a news release. Now they may have one, but we found an announcement from Timia Capital, but there's no actual news release on their site. Even when I was looking at LinkedIn, it looks like they had to basically share the Timia's announcement. So this one's interesting. To me, Ollie, this says they're happy to have it, but they don't want to make a big deal out of it. And that I could be completely wrong, but I'm guessing because it's how they phrase it. It's a $2.5 million, not a 30, not a 50, not 100. And it's an investment facility. This is not a venture round, right? So is that a warning sign? Are they in trouble? Or is this just opportunistic? I don't know. What are your thoughts, my friend?
I'm glad that you said that. I was curious I haven't actually heard that phrase before, facility investment or yeah, that's a new one to me. And the size of it, yeah, when you see they've had a Series B a couple of years ago, you think 2.5 Series B. We've just heard 43 and 30, so it doesn't quite stack up. I've heard of a couple companies, and I won't name them, of late where they're struggling and they need to go public, they need to get another round, they need to do something quick to keep going. And it's amazing to me how everything's so glorified. It's, everything's a raw, big success. We've raised this huge number. We're doing so well. We're going to grow this phenomenal amount. But you never, ever hear, for obvious reasons, things are going really badly. We need this round. But it's interesting sometimes the signs that you can pick up on. Maybe that's not the case here. Might not be. We don't know. But it is. It's rare that you see things like this.
Yeah, and what it does do is it points back to the importance of how you message and how you go, public with your messaging and the reaction to people. And sometimes you can get as much or more out of what companies don't say versus out of what they do say. So either way, check out LeadGenius. By the way, genius, because I see so many people spell this wrong. It's Genius, all right? In other words, you need to be a genius to spell genius. I'm just putting it out there. All right, let's move it along to corporate affairs. Okay, my friend, I'm going to let you head up this first conversation. I'll set the stage for you. Gong.io. Full disclosure, we have recently become Gong customers. And I'm going to read the folks here, the show notes that we have, of course, that guide our conversations that we want to say with you. And Ollie is he is the person who pulls this together every week. He gets lots of little tidbits himself. And then he has people like me sending him long, verbose emails where I say, this is interesting. And he has to sift through it and figure out what the hell I was talking about. I love Ollie's comments quite often in his show notes. His comment here is, it's not very enterprisey. So, Ollie, talk to me about the rebrand on their website.
Yeah, I hate to just rag on people, but I'm lying if I say I like it. And it's not for me to like it. It's a rebrand. You make of it what you will. But I find it weird. They're growing. They're so big. They're obviously getting a lot of enterprise deals. So you position yourself that way, right? It's a little bit not cartoony. It's a bit animated. It's a bit, it's very far away from the corporate, regimented, militant sort of, we must look like this to avoid being seen like that style. It's very, very far away from that, which is good. It's nice to have some edge. Maybe that's what other companies of their size will be doing in the future. Maybe they will totally discard that and just do it how they want to do it, which full credit to them if that's how they do it. But it did surprise me when I saw it. I thought, and if you think a couple of weeks ago of the SalesLoft rebrand, that's a bit more corporate-y, big company, inoffensive style. This is a bit more out there. So yeah, when I saw it, I'll confess, I'm a bit like, wow, okay, not what I was thinking. But what do you think? The word "not very enterprisey," does that come to mind when you look at it?
Well, it's very sassy, if you will. In other words, it's like trying to be the hip, cool kid in the class, and we're going to use bold colors, and we're just going to be the guys who, wear flip flops and have our shirts hanging out and cut our hair occasionally. I sound like an old man saying that. I know I do, but that's the vibe. That is the SaaS playbook. It truly, truly is. So this comes across sounding like that to me. That's the first part. My first reaction was, it was interesting. I give them credit for messaging that is, they use a lot of neutral white space, etc., so that you can actually see their messaging. So it's not convoluted in that regard, which is well done. But when I looked on their homepage, my first reaction as a marketer looking at it is I'm like, okay, so let me see. They've got a Caucasian woman at the top, and they have a Caucasian man at the bottom, one of their case studies, and that's their homepage. And I'm going, okay, well, that is not very reflective of the diverse workforce that I'm sure they're selling into. So to me, that was a massive oversight, because high tech is nothing if not diverse. And it's going to be high tech SaaS companies that are going to be buying this product. So that was my first reaction. The second one was the fact that if I looked at it, I don't actually know what they do. So, above the fold, it is a revenue engine. Unlock the reality, fuel your revenue engine, give your teams and leadership complete visibility into all deals, team performance, and market changes. Know for sure what is actually coming down the pipeline each month.
Do you feel like that sounds like a CRM?
Either that or a business intelligence, dashboard reporting engine, which they do have. But the classic marketing 101 is, what do you do? In kind of like 10 seconds or less. And because I just landed here, I searched for something. In this case, I probably searched for call recording or conversational intelligence or, phone call analysis, whatever it is people are trying to figure out. And I got here. And does this look like conversational intelligence? No. It's a fine site. I don't have a problem with the site. There's a lot of messaging here. I find they are relying upon you knowing who the hell Gong is. So if you don't know who Gong is and you're just new to the space, then you won't know what the hell they do looking at this site unless you drill down. And most of the people will bounce. That's me speaking as a marketer.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. Yeah.
Moving on. In the news of corporate affairs, not raising money, but instead the acquisitions continue. 6th Sense announced the acquisition of Slintel. Slintel, if you don't know them, they would claim to be, and it doesn't matter which company I talk about, any company I talk about is going to be the leading provider. Just so you know, it's like you have to do it. Slintel, the leading provider of business-driven technographic data, buyer and market insights, and modern business contact data. So I think this is a brilliant move by 6th Sense. Slintel's been on my radar for a long time. They're a good company. They're not an old company. And they're very specific, right? Technographic and buyer insights. So intent is really what it comes down to. So if you're like a 6th Sense, most of these ABM vendors, Terminus, Demandbase, et cetera, 6th Sense, they all rely upon third-party intent data for the most part, like a Bombora. So now they're getting more of that in-house. It's their own stuff. It's the whole data. You're seeing the ABM reach out and realize the importance of data, which means it won't be long before 6th Sense, Terminus, Demandbase are bumping heads with the Zoom Infos of the world. It's just inevitable. Again, that alpha platform play that Gartner's talking about as they do all the roll-up. I think this is a brilliant move. I think this is just a freaking brilliant move by them. What do you think?
Yeah, Slintel is a company I've known by name, but not known what they do. It's one of those that you hear about all the time, but when you look at it, just makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? More data into a data platform. Who's going to complain at that? Anyone will tell you that's good logic. And in fact, the next story as well kind of looks similar in a sense for Terminus as well. So if they're doing it and the other big one in the space is doing it, it can't be that bad of an idea, can it?
Well, so that's just it. So let's move on to that next story. So on a continued data play with an ABM theme, Terminus recently announced that they've acquired another company. Their fifth, in fact, and that's Xylotech. Terminus has been on a buying spree the last 2 years. It's been crazy. So Xylotech is a customer data platform, right? And if you know anything about CDP, which is all the rage. In fact, I was talking to the folks at the MarTech conference, and they said one of their biggest sessions was a session on customer data platforms. A customer data platform, and I'm not an expert on what a customer data platform, but the gist is it's basically a technology that allows you to bring all your various data sources into one common data source. You can have clean data and you can move data back and forth. You can think of it as middleware. That's really a secondary benefit of it. Now, why would that matter to them? So with them, data quality and cleanliness, like both account and contact data, is massive. So the second thing is, this is their fifth acquisition. So now they got 5 products they got to roll into a single integrated platform. So they, in fact, essentially need their own data platform to both bring all these pieces together as well as provide an infrastructure play internally for their platform for future acquisitions. And as you look at the rollout of marketing automation and CRM systems and sales engagement systems and ABM platforms and every single organization, you know, the whole integration thing becomes one of the driving factors about why you versus anybody else. Some people, we do this, rely upon a CRM like Salesforce.com. As long as all of our platforms roll into that, then we can use that as effectively our data platform, our one vision of the truth. But that comes at a lot of work and a lot of effort, and you're hoping that everybody's integration works the same way, and they never do. Do you support custom objects in Salesforce.com, or do you not support custom objects in Salesforce.com? That's your first issue you're going to run into every single time. So by having a data platform, a lot of that problem goes away. I think this is a brilliant move. This is a oh my God, we have a mess here move. We need to fix this, but it also works well with our clients. So I think this is a fantastic move. Again, a data play, not the intent data. Terminus does have third-party intent data from vendors like Bombora, but don't be shocked if you see them do a similar play like 6sense just did. But the CDP